Donald Trump and the Republican Party are really fucking things up. They are really messing it up. They're messing up the bag. They're totally screwing it up. You know, whether it is the foreign adventures, the funding of Bibi Netanyahu, the unnecessary tariff war that is going to jack up all of our prices, and actually it is jacking up our prices of beef and what have you. They're all going up because of these tariffs. You know, the illegal detention and deportation without due process, you name it, all of the fuck ups. And you would think that his plummeting approval rating would, you know, be a good sign for Democrats in 2026 for the midterm elections. And normally that would be the case. If you hearken back to 2018, the Democrats won big against Donald Trump. All they needed was 2 years of Donald Trump doing the things that he did in his first term, and the Democrats came back, you know, with a vengeance in 2018, and they won back the House, and I believe they won back the Senate. So they, you know, Donald Trump being as bad as he was had an effect in 2018. Well, things are different now. Not because Donald Trump and and the Republican Party and the House and in the Senate, they're doing horrible shit, and their approval rating is showing it. You know, even the immigration policy, Donald Trump is underwater. But not to be outdone, the Democratic Party, their brand is cooked. I got a little Rolling Stone here. Yet another poll finds Democrats reaching their lowest favorable ratings in decades. Voters have increasing little faith in the Democrats, a new Wall Street Journal poll found, with the Democrat Party reaching its lowest favorable rating in more than 3 decades. That's 30 years, folks. Voters overwhelmingly believe that the Republicans are better able to handle key issues in Congress than Democrats. All of the shit that I just enumerated just right then. All of that shit. I mean, not to mention the big, beautiful bill, which, I mean, my God, raises out-of-pocket costs for drugs, reduces coverage for, disability. 14 to 17 million people going to be kicked off of Medicaid. Cuts to Medicare from PAYGO. That's going to hit. Cuts to free school lunches, ending, child cancer research and Meals on Wheels and all of the things that they did. Not to mention $175 billion for ICE's budget, which is more than most militaries on the planet. And they are here to police us. And not to mention a $1.1 trillion military spending bill. For God's sakes, you would think that Donald Trump's approval rating would be in the toilet, but no. Democrats, they're worse. Because they're weak. They're feckless. Every time you hear the word Democrat, you just think weak. I mean, that's what I think. I think pathetic and weak and do nothing and thumb up their ass. The survey found that the majority of voters, 63%, have an unfavorable view of the Democratic Party. Only 33% hold a favorable view. This is the most unpopular the Democrats have been, according to the Journal poll dating back to 1990. As President Donald Trump enacts increasing authoritarian general and provides little economic benefit to the average American, Democrats are hopeful anti-Trump backlash will give them a strong showing in the 2026 midterm election. While slightly more people expect to vote for Democrats next year than Republicans, according to the Journal poll, Democrats' overall favorability has only dropped since Trump took office. Quote, the Democratic Party is so bad that they don't have the credibility to be a critic of Donald Trump or the Republican Party. John Anzalone, a Democratic pollster who worked on the survey, told the Journal. Until they reconnect with real voters and working people who they are for and what their economic message is, they are going to have problems. Look, I mentioned this in the past. One of the reasons why I get so goddamn mad is that when we do have a proper Democrat that represents the working class, that represents regular everyday working people, like somebody like Zoran Mamdani, the Democratic Party turned their back on him. They call him anti-Semitic. They call him every name in the book. We got Cuomo calling him a communist. Fucking Cuomo, who is supposed to be a Democrat, is calling this guy a communist because he wants to make buses free in the city so they can move faster and maybe actually do a program for childcare so New Yorkers can actually go to work. Because, you know, working class shit, stuff that the Democrats have been doing for years, being for the working class. Now they just serve their fucking donors, and it is obvious. It is so goddamn obvious they do not give a good goddamn about the working class. Whether they're white, black, or brown, they don't care. So when you have an actual proper progressive who is touting all of the things that Democrats are supposed to be for, who they have long been for decade after decade. You know, FDR, LBJ, you know, civil rights, human rights, workers' rights. That's all out the window, man. They're basically just moderate Republicans, the lot of them. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Nancy Pelosi, they're all moderate Republicans at this point. And every time we get somebody like AOC or Bernie Sanders, they shoot them down. They chastise them. You know, they give them what for no goddamn reason other than the fact that he, like Zoran Mamdani, is outshining them because they're all weak bitches. Anyway, let me go back to this article here. According to the survey, voters think Republicans in Congress are more capable at handling the economy, inflation, and rising prices, tariffs. The Republicans are better on tariffs. Oh my God. Oh my God. Immigration, illegal immigration, the Russia-Ukraine war, which, by the way, Donald Trump's like, yeah, I'm giving him 2 more weeks. Putin, you got 2 weeks or else. I'm going to send you a strongly worded letter. I'm going to use the auto pen. Goddamn. And foreign policy. Foreign policy. He just bombed fucking Iran, which, by the way, didn't work. You know, didn't stop or, you know, ruin the nuclear facility. They just bombed a mountain. But yeah, man, they're better on foreign policy. We've got a live action genocide happening in Gaza right now. But yet the Republicans are better on foreign policy than the Democrats are. Shocking. 48% have their faith in Republicans and 24% choose Democrats. Democrats score higher on health care and vaccine policy. Wow. Both parties tied at 37 on the issues of looking out for the middle-class families. Quote, as much as I fully believe that Democrats are not doomed for all eternity, I believe that many Democrats aren't quite grappling with the serious credibility problems the party still faces. Yeah, Chuck, why don't you read this fucking article, man? Democratic operative Trey Easton posted on Twitter, the podcast and everything are real cute, but we've got work to do. Democrats also scored low on Quinnipiac poll released earlier this month. In that survey approval of Congress, Democrats reached a new low of 19%, with 72% of voters saying that they disapprove. Yeah, man, because they're not doing anything. It's like that meme, you know, the guy poking the thing with the stick going, just fucking do something. This is a record low since March 2009 when Quinnipiac University poll first began asking the questions of registered voters. The university wrote, Quinnipiac poll found that even registered Democratic approval, the party, 39% approve of how Democrats in Congress were handling their job, while 52% disapproved. Among registered Republicans, 77% approve of how Republicans are operating in Congress. Oh my God. In the findings from the journal, voters are mixed on Trump. About half of 55% of voters say that the country is heading in the wrong direction. This is down from 70% in January, meaning voters have become more optimistic meaning voters have become more optimistic since Trump took office? Okay. Yet Trump is not widely popular. He has a favorability rating of 45% and an unfavorability rating of 52%. Total of 46% approval of what Trump is doing as president and 52% disapprove. 53% disapprove of Trump's handling of the economy, while 44% approve. On the issues of inflation, tariffs, immigration, looking out for the middle-class families, healthcare, vaccine policy, foreign policy, and the Russian-Ukraine war, voters disapprove of the job Trump is doing. On the topic of illegal immigration, though 51% approve and 49% disapprove. The Republican Party is not widely popular either, though with 54% of the voters having an unfavorable view compared to 43% who have a favorable view. So even though Donald Trump is totally fucking things up, not even close in comparison to the Democrats. This bunch of yahoos right here. Anyway, I am pissed off at my representatives. I live in New York City, so I've got to look both at Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. You know, I wish there was something interesting that I could say to make them actually get off of their ass, but apparently they took that advice from James Carville to heart, where he said, just do nothing and let Trump fuck it up. Well, they didn't take into account that their inaction would cause them more strife than actually doing something. You know, Chuck Schumer's on his book tour and Hakeem Jeffries is posing for pictures and pointing his finger and saying, hey, at least we're not fascist. Yeah, man, that'll work for a little while, but eventually you're going to lose again, and then a worse fascist is going to take their place. I mean, the political acumen of these people is absolutely pathetic. I mean, I don't even know what we're doing anymore. We've got a fascist agenda sweeping across the nation, and they're standing there twiddling their thumbs going, you know, I would say something, but, you know, I mean, I was busy talking to my friends, the Baileys, and they said to not exert yourself. You know, we're going to fight and we're going to win, but, you know, maybe later, because I've got other things to do. Have you checked out my book on anti-Semitism? You know, those Democrats out there who are they're protesting against Israel, you know, they're all very anti-Semitic. So I've got to do something about that first before I take care of the fascism here in our own country. Goddamn Chuck. Chuck rhymes with fuck, and you are fucking up. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.